Ronnie O'Sullivan is not interested in jogging. The man nicknamed the Rocket likes to run the way he pots snooker balls, quickly, relentlessly. There's no feeling like taking along at 6:30 minutes/mile. In the forest, up and down the hills, he says. It's just a great way to start the day. That, to me, is proper running. To hear O'Sullivan speak about running today in almost religious terms, it's hard to imagine a time when she considered it a chore. However, as a kid, O'Sullivan was told by his dad, Ronnie Sr., that he had to run. He used to force me to go out, says O'Sullivan. He said, you can leave school when you're 15, but you have to keep fit. Healthy body, healthy mind. I never used to enjoy it, but I noticed it made me play better snooker. And I wanted to be as good as I could at snooker, so I kept it up. However, when his dad was imprisoned for murder, O'Sullivan stopped running, and by the time he was 20 years old, he weighed 15 stone and his waistline had swelled to 37 inches. Running came back into his life initially as a way to lose weight, but soon became much more than that. Running has kept the things that are important to me. My family, relationships and snooker much more stable. I've noticed I don't get so moody, there isn't the same self-loathing. Running just makes me feel so much better about myself, which is good for everyone around me too. Several years and several injuries on, O'Sullivan is not running quite as quickly. I could probably only run a 20-minute 5K at the minute, he says, wistfully. He is, otherwise, in a wonderful place, say physically, mentally and professionally. 2 days before we met, he had just become world #1 again in his second favorite sport, snooker. At 44, he was the oldest player to achieve this dot. And he attributes his longevity to regular running and a fresh approach to nutrition. His book, Top of Your Game, Eating for Mind and Body, which he's co-wrote with nutritionalist Ryan Lambert, is a collection of healthy recipes and hard-won insights on food, running and life in general. In September 2017, O'Sullivan says he hit the wall with his physical and mental well-being. He was overweight again, despite the fact that he was over-exercising. And everything was suffering as a consequence, including his snooker. I was playing badly because I was so knackered all the time, he says. I was following a carbohydrate-free diet to try and drop some pounds, without realizing that my brain needed good carbohydrates to function during matches. That's when O'Sullivan started working with Lambert. Together, they got a handle on his portion sizes, cut out certain foods and added others. The results, he says, have been startling. With the snooker cue in his hand, O'Sullivan is a phenomenon. He's just claimed his 7th World Championship title, becoming the oldest world champion in Crucible history. The trophies, which also include 7 Masters title and 7 UK championships, tell only half the story. For it is not how many trophies O'Sullivan has won but the manner in which he has won them that sets him apart. To watch the rocket in full flow is, simply, a thing of beauty. He is the Picasso of the bass, or, perhaps, the Kipchoge of the cloth. With a pair of running shoes on his feet, O'Sullivan is good, but not great. He once finished 189th at the Southern Cross Country Championships, and made it into the pages of Athletics Weekly via a win at a small-scale 10K in Essex. Yet swapping the bright lights of the bays for the ankle-deep anonymity of cross-country was part of the appeal. With a club vest on, O'Sullivan was no longer a once-in-a-generation genius. With all the expectation that comes with it, he was just another exhausted, imperfect runner. I knew I was always going to have to be one of these untalented runners who has to work hard to get whatever he can out of it, he says. Don't get me wrong, no matter what I do, I like to be at the front. But with running I knew I wasn't expected to win. I'd look at the winners and think, it would be great to be them. But I knew I could never be that good, because I'd never done it seriously as a kid. I used to equate it to someone who was 30 years old who decided he wanted to become a top snooker player. How would he fare against me? He'd never get anywhere near me. How would he fare against me? He'd never get anywhere near me. Even if he played for the next 100 years and I didn't pick up a cue, I'd wipe the floor with him. While running victories may have remained out of reach, moving from maestro to mid-packer taught O'Sullivan some valuable lessons about himself. Running taught me that I've got guts, determination and that I'm happy not to take shortcuts, he says. If you want to get the most out of yourself as a runner, you don't have to have masses of ability. I honestly think if you run 50 or 60 miles a week, with a few track sessions thrown in, anyone can run a sub-3 marathon or a sub-35 10K. It's all about effort. Had you, in 2009, asked O'Sullivan to rank his top sporting priorities, winning another snooker world championships might have come second to his desire to represent his home county, Essex, in cross-country. Running did take over for a while, I'll admit, he says. But I didn't mind, because running is a good thing. You don't mind things like that taking over. Anyway, what else are you going to do with your life? Sit around and get fat?